Peace, what's up? Today I want to talk about in my today's video, I want to deal with the phenomenon known as evil. Evil is real, regardless of what people tell you. You know how they want to justify, people's activity. Why do they oppress? Why do they steal? Why do they kill? People find a reason to try to justify. Oh, it's because they've been taught such and such a way. It's because they think such and such a way. The reason that so-called white people oppress blacks is because it's their education. If they was taught better, they'd do better, right? I don't believe that. I believe people are just evil, wicked. Wickedness is like necessary. When you have a situation in which somebody has something that you don't have and you don't think they'll just give it to you, so they go into their self and think about how can they get that, if they need the food or if they just want it, they could just do something that requires a evil, aggressive tendency, taking it, bust you upside the head, take it from you. They don't care how you feel. They don't care if you live or die. All they care about is obtaining the thing that they wanted from you. Jealousy, envy, hatred, robbery, killing, adultery, murder. All these things are evil. All these things are wicked. Sin. You got to think about it. What is a sin? A sin is a violation of the laws, statutes, and commandments given to us by God, right? And one of the sins, thou shalt not steal. But people steal all day, every day. It's like robbery, stealing. And some thievery, some larceny doesn't even appear to be larceny. The politicians voted to give the people of the United States $600 as a stimulus, relief. And there's 300 million people, right? So if you multiply 300 million times 600, you will come up with, I think about 180 million, 180 billion. You got 300 million times 10. That is like what? 3 billion times 100. That is what? 30 billion. 30 billion times 6 is 180 billion, right? But Congress agreed to give $900 billion, right? So where's the other 720 billion go? That's evil. I know where it's going. They say it's going to the foreign countries, but really it's going to the pockets of the Congress and the corporations. So it's a robbery, a thievery. And evil is a disease. Evil can be spread to other people. If a person get violated by another person, right? Say they got robbed, brutalized, whatever, and that person didn't receive justice, or that person didn't get assistance to help retrieve the thing in which they was deprived of, that person might end up being evil and believing that it's a dog-eat-dog world. You live and die. Strong survive. It'll be another cycle. Or you got predators, the Catholic priests been doing this thing to children. Wicked thing. I don't want to mention it because YouTube try to sabotage my video, but you know what I'm talking about. But the victims of these priests, the victims of these predators, not all of them, but a lot of them grow up to victimize. It's the evil disease that's been spreading to the next generation, right? Even if you look at the Bible, the serpent. No, I'm gonna mention the Quran, because the Quran goes deep into it. In the Quran, God made Adam in heaven amongst the jinn, amongst the angels. Man was made after them, but man was given supremacy over the angels and the jinn. And because man was given supremacy and wisdom above the jinn, above the angels, Iblis, Satan, was jealous. Satan was evil. He looking like, why didn't I get this? You deprived me. He believed that he was violated by God, right? He was, injustice was committed against Iblis. And Iblis refused to submit and to bow to man. And because he refused, he disobeyed the direct commandment, and he was cast out. He was kicked out of heaven, right? Cain and Abel. Cain was jealous of Abel because Abel had favor with God. God accepted Abel's sacrifice, which was an animal. Cain gave him berries and, figs and fruits and vegetables. And because God accepted Abel and not Cain, Cain was jealous and he did evil to Abel. He killed him. Evil, jealousy. If evil isn't corrected early, evil will grow and affect everybody. Evil, a society would actually encourage wickedness. You have a situation in which one group of people wants to obtain the products and the capabilities and the materials of another people. The culture of the first people was to encourage evil activity to the second people, to violate, to destroy, to rob them in order for you to benefit. And then when you actually encourage this behavior will end up consuming that people, because evil grew and spread. Evil is a living entity. Evil, wickedness is evil behavior. Evil is a mechanism and a spirit. People do evil, wicked, sadistic things in order to, usually to get the thing that they want. They steal, they kill, they destroy, they rob, they torture, they rape, because they want to satisfy a particular aspect of lust inside themselves, a desire inside themselves that they can't really fulfill using their own abilities. They're usually inadequate, and the only way to get this satisfaction is to partake in wicked, evil activity against others. And sometimes people do evil to their own self. Wickedness, and I think everything I talk about seems to go back to black oppression in America, and how the government seems to be evil in their activity towards the black people, more so than their activity towards other people. They have a particular interest in inflicting more harm to the blacks. Now, if you look at the philosophy mentioned earlier, the idea of obtaining something in which that person has, that gives me an indication that there must be some great power, ability that the black people have in order to instigate, cause, or attract, I will use the word attract, such evil from so many different people on this planet. You got evil coming from the Asians, the Indians, the Africans, the Caucasians, the Latinos. Everybody has this evil. But I think the reason they have this evil is because the only way to attain the thing in which the black people seem to possess is to use wicked, evil, brutal tactics, because they don't have it within themselves to get it. They don't want to go and build a country, do the hard labor. We did hundreds of years of unpaid labor to get this country. These people don't want to work for free. They don't want to do the hard work to build a country, so they're going to just come here and do their evil engagements to us to kill, destroy, influence, genocide with the abortions, the murder, the tactics, the evil tactics, in order to obtain the thing in which the so-called black people have. And then the black people, because we're in such poverty, on average, black people is in poverty. We lack resources to obtain things in which that we desire. Usually it's material things. It's not like we have to obtain language, culture, style. You know, we rich in that type of stuff when it comes to money, to pay rent, to purchase items for your family, stuff like that. A lot of that is lacking. So black people, sometimes they engage in evil activity to each other, robbing, killing, stealing, in order to obtain these mundane things, to provide these to provide for their needs that they lack in because of poverty. But if you eliminated poverty from black people in America, we'll be a very peaceful people. But that's a double-edged sword, because when you become a peaceful people and you're a very prosperous and wealthy people, you will attract evil from other groups. So you still need that dynamic of violence and threat. You still need to be seen as a threat to reduce the chances of evil activity being perpetuated against you by other groups. But still, you must have a balance in which you don't actually engage in evil to each other. And it's really difficult to actually become, well, it is difficult for the black people for some reason, to be this violent, brutal warrior people without being oppressed, without being hungry, without lacking. You know, other people, they lack. They came out of caves. They living in straight filth in their country, so they have this brutal mentality anyway, and they see America as a big dish, like in Scarface. He came from Cuba. He saw America as this. I ain't gonna mention the language he used, but that's how they see when they come here. It's just sweet coming from where they came from. So they coming to inflict evil. But the easiest target in America is the black people, because we have a lot of communities, but we're in poverty, so we lose our communities because of economics, because of oppression against this government, this evil, wicked government. And the government keeps us, the government is using us as if we're just a farm animal. We're just set up in a barn to be utilized to fulfill their needs. And a lot of the people in the government are very inadequate. They don't have the ability to innovate the culture, the music, the arts, the history, the science. So they take that from the black people. They keep us in a sense of poverty. So we'll work for crumbs, invent the cures for diseases. We'll do all the music. We'll entertain everybody. But they need to be the ones getting all the money. They robbing us of our talent. And this is evil. You know, to take advantage of a person, to exploit a person, to rob a person of something that belongs to them is evil. But usually people do it because they feel this is the only way they can attain those things, and they think those things will bring them satisfaction, because the people who has those things seem satisfied, and the ones who don't have those things, they can't really find anything within themselves and their own culture to bring satisfaction. So they're looking outside, and the black people in America seems to be the most satisfied, blessed, and prosperous people without money, because they create a lot of things, but we're being attacked and destroyed. Evil is being inflicted upon us. Now, a perfect example of how evil is a so-called mechanism to get things in which somebody else has that you need or want when you feel you can't have. Look how the Nazis justified annihilating the so-called Jews, right? They did the genocide, or they say they did the genocide, but at the same time, they stripped the so-called Jews of all of their resources and their rights and their ability to so-called defend themselves. And they took everything, took all their money, took all their property, repossessed everything. So you see, you don't see a person being destroyed, a group of people committing a genocide or ethnic cleansing or removing the people without also robbing them of their resources, their land, their property. Like in America, the U.S. government waged war against the Native Americans and put them in concentration camps called reservations. But at the same time, they had the Homestead Act, where they gave all the Native Americans' lands away to the Caucasians for free. Took all of their houses, their institutions, the schools they had, their communities they built, the rivers, the lakes, everything. So it was like a means to an end. The end was to obtain the land and the blessings of the Native Americans. The means was to inflict evil, wage the war. And they justified this evil, saying that the Native Americans were savages, and the Native Americans did the massacre. They call it the Fort Dearborn Massacre, which started the war in 1812 in Chicago. It was like a pretext. The Caucasian could have been the ones that did the massacre on their own people, just to justify waging war against the natives in order to steal all of the resources, the land, the technology, the culture, everything. So evil is definitely real. Evil has existed before time. Evil was in heaven. Evil was in the first human being. Evil was in the Bible. And evil still dwells. And evil spreads. The only way to really stop evil is to prepare yourself and to understand the thing that which happened to you. Once you understand what happened and why a person did what they did, you neutralize them, but you don't continue the evil to others. You don't pass the evil down to the next people. You stop the evil with them. You destroy them. And that's how you stop evil from permeating throughout the earth. And people around the earth need to figure out how they could actually be satisfied with themselves so they don't have to inflict evil. But for some reason, everybody don't have the same blessings. So it'll be very difficult for groups of people to not try to destroy other groups or try to infiltrate and to steal and rob and kill other groups to steal the things which they have. So people must always stand guard, have a proper defense against evil attacks. Those who are in dire need of food and shelter, place to go, money, they're looking for a victim, and they would utilize evil to get it.